Agamemnon's son. And now you are here, at last, to see for yourself as you always wanted to do. This place, this legend-haunted, longed-for land of Argos. Ios was driven across this plain by stinging flies, and over there, Orestes, Apollo wolf-slayer, gave his name to the agora. That place on the left is Hera's famous temple, where we stand now. You may say you are looking at gold-rich Mycenae. And this blood-drenched house belongs to the family of Pelops. I carried you away from your father's murder, away from this place when your own blood sister gave you to me, so that I could save your life, bring you up to young manhood, and train you to be the avenger of your father's death. Now, therefore, Orestes, and you too, Pylades, dearest friend, we must decide quickly what to do. The sun's rays, as you see, are already raising the voices of birds, and stars fading from the dark and kindly skies. So before the first man ventures from this house, we'd better say enough to settle a plan. We mustn't shrink or hesitate a moment longer now. Now is the time to act.
You're very near my heart, more than any other serving man. You've proved your nobility to me many times. Now I'll reveal my secret plans to you. You must keep a sharp ear to what I say, and if I miss my target, you must set me right. You know I went to the Pythian oracle at Delphi to find out what strategy would make my father's murderers pay the price for what they did. Apollo answered my questions along these lines. By myself, without mustering an armed force to trick them, sneak in and with my own hand do the slaughter they deserve. So on this basis, you are to go and when the right moment strikes you, enter this house and find out everything they are doing, so that you can give me a report from first-hand knowledge. Your old age and the passing of many years will keep you from being recognized. They won't suspect a thing. Tell them this story. You are a visitor who's come from Phocus. Give them this message under oath. Orestes died in a fatal accident. When he was chariot racing at the Pythian Games, he was thrown from his perch. That's your story. As for us, we'll go first to father's tomb as the god directed to make libation, and I'll cut a fine bunch of hair to crown his grave. Then we'll come back here again, carrying in our hands the bronze urn. You know, the one is what I have to say. Now, old man, go and look after your assigned job. We too will leave. The time is ripe, and when men act, they are governed by all, and all by good timing.
I am so miserable.
Listen, child, I think I heard one of the maidservants crying inside the house.
Is this Electra? Poor thing. What do you want to do? Should we stay and listen to her grief?
Certainly not. Nothing before Apollo's command. We must set out to follow that as our guide and make the libation to your father. This leads to victory, I assure you, and power over the perpetrators.
Oh, holy light. Oh, air. Earth's equal partner. How many cries of grief have you heard? How many times have you seen me draw blood as I beat at my breast when black night lifted? Oh, these all-night festivals of weeping. That loathsome bed at home, how well I know every lump in it. Lying wake, mourning for my poor father. He could have been an honoured guest in a foreign grave if the bloody war had taken him. But no. My mother and her playmate, Aegisthus, like a pair of lumberjacks at an oak tree, took a bloody axe and split his skull. Now, oh, my father, no one weeps for me. No one weeps for you but me. I am the only one who cries out against your murder, and I will never stop. Like the nightingale who sings for her murdered child, I will proclaim my raging grief to everyone. In front of these, my father's gates, I call on hell, home of Hades and Persephone. I call Hermes out of the dark earth and Hera, mistress of the curse. I call the God-begotten holy furies, you who witness every murder, you who watch adulterous thieves of sex. Come, you gods, be my army. Punish those who killed my father and bring my brother to me.
Dear child.
Electra,
Daughter of disaster mother,
will you weep and wail forever?
what will be enough for you?
To melt in tears?
That's old news now. Agamemnon getting trapped.
Deceived by your mother, utterly godless.
Betrayed by her wicked hand?
And the mind behind it all, may I say it aloud, I wish he were dead.
Dear women, you are true to your noble birth. I am in anguish, and you came to comfort me. Believe me, I understand what you say. You are not unheard. But I do not want to give this up. Ceaseless, raucous mourning for my poor father. Leave me to my madness. For the sake of our dear friendship, yours and mine, please go.
But you'll never raise him up.
Hades sucks everyone down. Your father needs no tears or prayers from you.
You were right to grieve at first, but now it's absurd, this endless wailing.
You'll cry yourself to death.
Tell me,
Tell me,
why are you so devoted to your pain?
Could anyone forget the horror of a parent's death? Or learn to be as silent as a baby? My mind is stamped in the image of a crying bird who calls for her dead child forever. Etis, Etis! And mindless with grief, she is Zeus's messenger.
But you are not alone, child. All mortals suffer pain. You let it hurt too much.
why do you take it over the edge?
And what about the boy who was hidden from pain? He is well born and happy, and someday Mycenae, our famous land, will have him back at the altar of Zeus, who cares for us. Orestes will come.
He's the one I'm waiting for. I never give up. I hang on, unmarried, childless, fluttering in misery. But Orestes forgets his pain and what he knows of mine. How can he send message after message? None of them come true. Always he says, I long to come. All right, but then show yourself to me.
Be hopeful, child, be hopeful.
Even now, in heaven, great Zeus sees all, rules all. Let him bear your grief. It is too much for you.
And as for those you hate, do not forget, but do not hate too much.
Time is a soft and gentle god.
And still, the Lord of the Cow, grazed high of Chrysa, Apollo, turned this over and over in his mind.
So does Agamemnon's son, and so does the godlike king himself by Acheron.
But what about me? What hope can I have? My life drains away, my strength is gone. I am some childless woman with no man to depend on.
Agony to hear, a scream at homecoming.
Agony in the lap of ancestors when he faced the bronze jaws, startled by their assault.
Deception spoke then, lust had its way.
And what they conceived was horrible.
Horribly given shape, whether it was a human or a god who made it be.
The day I hate beyond all others. The day of my worst enemies. That night. Festival of anguish. Unspeakable. When my father saw his own death. His murder at their hands.
Tell yourself, do not raise your voice again.
Have you any idea where this leads? You are so far out of line, you'll fall blindly into ruin, your own blindness.
You'll get more than your share of trouble if the sick spirit in your soul is pregnant with battle, if it always hatches war.
Never launch a quarrel against the powers that be.
But I have to be dreadful in dreadful times. Necessity. I understand my passions, they are no mystery to me. But in dreadful times, how could I hold back? This blind fury seethes until I die. Please go away, spare me your comfort. My pain is beyond cure, and I will never let it go. I will weep without end.
All right, but I meant well.
I spoke like a mother from my heart.
Trust me. Do not hatch ruin out of ruin.
Set limits to evil. Impossible. How could it be good to neglect the dead? Would human nature bear it? Because my poor father lies dead, because he is earth and nothing, they, in return, shall pay the price, death for death. If any strength remains in the reverence and respect of mortals.
As for me, dear child, I came because I care deeply for you. As for myself,
I speak wrong, you win.
I will follow you.
It shames me, ladies, if you judge me guilty of excessive pain and grief. But be understanding. Violence forces me to act this way. Could any high-born woman see her father suffering and not act so? His death is always before my eyes, day and night, growing like a healthy weed. First, my mother's part in this, because she bore me, is the cruelest blow of all. And then, in my own home, I rub shoulders with the killers of my father. I am at their command. I depend on them. When Aegisthus sits in front of me on the throne that was my father's, when he wears father's clothes and pours libations from hearth and home right where they killed him, and I have no choice but to watch all of this, then the ultimate outrage. I see him, the murderer himself, in father's bed with mother. Mother. That disaster of a woman, can I really call her that when she's the bedmate of that man? She is so shameless. She sleeps with pollution and she does not fear the fury of the gods. It's as if she's laughing away her crimes. She keeps track of the anniversary of the day she killed my father after tricking him. And on that day, she has a festival of sacred dance and sacrifices to the gods. Gods she thinks will protect her. Poor me. I cry alone by myself with never enough tears to satisfy the hunger of my angry soul. And she mocks me. So, one high-toned woman, only one, keeps saying this was wrong. No one else complains or calls it helpful to the gods. Are you the first to have a father die? The only human being to suffer and to grieve? Devil take you. I hope the gods below never set you free from all of your weeping and wailing. That's how she insults me. But when she hears that Orestes may be on the way, she comes after me, shouting like mad, "It's all your fault, you did it. You stole Orestes right out of my hands and I'll make you pay for that." That's how she howls for justice. And he's beside her, cheering her on, her famous, fresh-made husband. Totally pathetic, can't do anything on his own, has to have a woman fight his battles for him. So while I keep waiting for Orestes to come and put a stop to all of my trouble, I am perishing here. And what's Orestes doing? Nothing but having good intentions which are smashing all of my hopes.
Tell me, is Aegisthus at home? Would you say this while he's near, or is he away?
Of course he's away. If he was near, I'd have stayed indoors. Right now, he's in the fields.
Well then, in that case, I might find the courage to join in what you say.
He's gone, all right. What do you want to know?
Here's my question for you. Your brother, is he coming now or later? I want to know.
He says he's coming, but he doesn't do what he says.
Men often hold back when the job is enormous.
But I saved his life, and it wasn't by holding back.
Be hopeful. A noble nature never fails his friends.
Oh, I believe. It's what's kept me alive this long.
No more words now, nothing.
I see your sister coming from the house. Chrysothemis, like you, she has her father's nature and her mother's.
In her hand, she has gifts to offer as custom dictates to the dead.
What is this noise you're making just outside of our doorway? Sister, what are you saying? After so much time, are you still refusing to learn how silly it is to indulge in empty displays of emotion? At least I understand the situation I'm in. I'm in so much agony over the way that things are now. If I were strong enough, I'd show them what I think of them. But I have decided that in a storm, it's best to slacken sail and not pretend to take action when you're causing them harm, or no pain. You should follow my example. As for justice, I agree. I am not speaking up for justice. Your judgment is correct. Still, I must live in freedom, and to do that, I must totally obey the powers that be.
Dreadful. Absurd. Your father is the source of who you are. Yet you forget him and think only of the woman who gave you birth. You learned everything from her. When you scold me, it comes from her, not you. Take your pick. Either you're out of your mind, or you've stayed sane by putting family out of mind. The way you're speaking now, if you were strong, you'd show how much you hate all this. But when I demand total vengeance for father, you won't act with me. And when I act, you try to stop me. What is this but cowardice on top of our trouble? Explain to me, or else take my point. What would I gain by silencing my grief? I have my life, don't I? It's bad, but it's enough for me. And I give pain to them, so if there's any joy down there, the dead man has some satisfaction. Yes, you hate, but your hatred is only a word. Action killed father, and you're cozy with the killers. You had a chance to be known for the excellence of our wonderful father, and you chose mother. So most people think you're rotten. Now that father's dead and you've betrayed your own family.
Not so angry by the gods.
You'd both be better off if you learned something from each other.
You should apply her words to your life, and she should apply yours to hers.
As for me, ladies, I have become rather accustomed to the things she says. I would never have brought it up, except that trouble is coming her way on a huge scale. So I heard, and that will stop her endless wailing.
Really? Tell me what's so dreadful. If it's worse than the trouble I have now, I'll stop arguing.
All right, I'll tell you everything I know. Their plan is this. If you don't quit this lamentation, they will send you away to a place where never again will you see the light of the sun. You'll be alive, under the roof of a dungeon, far from this land, and there you may sing of your troubles. Think this over, and later on, don't blame me if you suffer. Now is the time to get smart.
This is what they plan to do to me.
Absolutely, as soon as Aegisthus comes home.
Then I hope he makes it here quickly.
What are you saying? It will haunt you.
I want him to come if he has a mind to do any of this.
What are you aiming at? Have you lost your mind?
I aim to get as far as I can away from all of you.
Don't you care at all about the life that you have now?
Yes, it's a fine life I lead. Wonderful.
But it would be, if only you'd learn to think straight.
Don't you try to persuade me to turn against family.
I'm not trying to persuade you to do anything. Just give in to the powers that be.
You mean suck up to them? I can't live your way.
But good judgment is a fine thing if
I'll fall if I have to, avenging father.
Father would understand this and forgive.
Congratulations on your wisdom. A coward would say the same.
So you're not persuaded? You won't agree with me?
No way. And I hope I'll never be such an idiot.
Then I will leave you. I was sent out for a purpose.
Where are you going? These offerings, who are they for?
Mother sent me to pour libations at Father's tomb.
What? Though he hates her more than anyone.
Though she killed him. That's what you meant to say.
Did she get this idea from some friend? Who is she trying to please?
She got it from fear because of her dream, that's what I think.
Oh, gods of our father, be with us now above all.
Does Mother's panic give you some reason to hope?
Tell me what she saw, then I'll answer.
But I don't know much. I can only say a little.
Then tell me that. Often a few words are enough to ruin a human life or to save one.
Word is that she saw our father, yours and mine, and he was living with her again after he had returned into the light. And then in front of the hearth he took and planted his scepter, the one he used to hold, which Aegisthus has now, and from it sprang a vigorous young branch that cast its shade over all the land of Mycenae. She sent me out on account of this fear. Now, I beg you, by the gods of our people, take my advice. Don't let yourself fall down as a result of bad judgment.
No, darling. Those things you're carrying, don't let any of them touch his tomb. It would be an outrage, an irreverence to bring that hateful woman's gifts as offerings for Father's grave. No libations either, no. Toss them into the wind or dig them a hole deep in the earth where none of them will ever come near our Father's resting place. She can have them when she dies. Her own little buried treasure which we saved for her. First off, if she wasn't the hardest-hearted woman on earth, she'd never send you to honour the man she killed with a crown of offerings, a libation of hate. Ask yourself, do you think the dead man would accept these tokens as friendship when he died at her hand, dishonoured like a worthless enemy? When she hacked off his legs, wiped the blood off her hands onto his hair? Don't tell me you believe you could wash her crimes away. Not with the things you carry, no way, get rid of them. Do this instead. Cut off the waving tresses of your hair and cut mine too. It isn't much, but in my sad state, that's all I have, dull as it is. But give it to him, please, and take this belt of mine, although it's very plain. Fall on your knees and make this prayer. May he rise from the earth to be our friend and ally. May he strike our enemies, and may his son Orestes have the upper hand. May our enemies learn that he is still alive when he has crushed them under his foot, so we may crown him with richer hands than those we have today.
Reverence agrees with the girl.
If your mind is sound, you'll do what she said.
I'll do it. Justice forbids debating on both sides, when what it demands is immediate action. But please, for my sake, my friends, be quiet about it while I carry out this plan. If Mother learns about it, bitter pain will strike me if I dare carry on.
Unless I have totally lost my mind, like some raving fortune teller, it was justice that spoke through that dream, and the force of her hand will bring justice here very, very soon.
My confidence soared as soon as I heard the sweet breath of this dream. Now there will be no forgetting. Your father, king of the Greeks, remembers, and so does the old bronze-made double blade that hacked him down. A shameful, shameful crime.
The Fury will be here in bronze, with a multitude of feet, an army of hands. She lies in ambush, terrible. The Fury who came against this marriage that is no marriage, blood-drenched, forbidden.
We can be sure of this. When people commit such crimes or conspire to do them with someone else, the only miracle they can expect is monstrous, their own punishment.
Surely human prophecy cannot depend on oracles or on dreams of terror unless this vision of the night, as we hope, comes true.
So, I suppose you think you're free to roam about now that Aegisthus is away. He'd keep you in bounds, indoors, so you wouldn't be such a disgusting embarrassment to your dear family. Well, he's gone, and you never listened to me. And yet you have lots and lots of things to say about me to the people. You call me cruel. You say I rule with no regard for justice, that I treat you arrogantly, outrageously. But the outrage isn't coming from me. I am only giving you back the insults you give me. Your father, that's your only charge against me, that his death came from me. From me. I know that well enough. I can't deny it. But it was justice that took him. I didn't do it alone. And you should have helped too, if you had any sense. Because this father of yours, the one you're always weeping about, was the only Greek hard-hearted enough to sacrifice a girl to the gods, your sister. The pains he took to father her were nothing like the pain I had in giving birth. All right. Can you convince me he had a reason to sacrifice her? For what? For the Greeks? They had no business killing a girl who belonged to me. Was it for his brother Menelaus that he killed her? If so, don't I still have a right to justice? Didn't Menelaus have 2 children, and didn't they have a better reason to die? After all, it was their father and mother who launched those ships. Do you think Hades had a greater appetite for my children than for hers? Or did your wretched father let his love for my children fade away while his love was still strong for those of Menelaus? She would agree with me. The dead girl would, if she had a voice. As for me, I have no regrets about what I did.
This time you won't say it was I who began a round of insults. Still, if you permit, I'd like to set the record straight about my dead father and also about my sister.
By all means, plunge ahead. If you always began a speech this way, you wouldn't be so painful to hear.
All right, I will speak out. You admit you killed father. Could anything be more disgusting than that? No. Even if you had justice on your side, but I tell you, there was no justice in your killing. You were controlled, brainwashed by that wicked man, the one you sleep with now. Would you demand an account from Artemis, the dog driver, why she locked up the winds at Aulis? Punishing what? I'll explain, since asking her is out of bounds. One day, I'm told, my father went for sport through woods belonging to the goddess, and there he startled a deer, a spotted buck with antlers. He killed it, and in doing that, he struck the goddess with an arrogant boast. This so enraged her that she held the Greek army back, so that my father would have to pay for his kill by sacrificing his own daughter. That's how it was, her sacrificial death. The army had no other way to move, no going home, no going to Troy. Should he die for that? At your hand, by whose law? Think what you lay on yourself by imposing this law on others. Watch out. It may be grief and repentance, because if we start taking a life for a life, each time you'll be the first to die if justice comes your way. Take care, your plea of justice will not stand. Please, if you like, convince me that you had cause to commit your own more recent, foul, disgusting crimes. 1, you are sleeping with a man whose hands are stained with blood, your helper back then in killing father. 2, you are making babies while you turn the ones you had back then into outcasts, although they had grown up true to the family and from a true marriage. For these 2 crimes, how can I say a single word of praise? Are you telling me you did them to avenge your daughter? And what are you to me? More tyrant than mother in my judgment. My life is a misery. I bed down with pain and endless anguish, all because of you and him, your partner. And as for the one of us who got away, Orestes, he suffers still, though you can't reach him now. You keep accusing me of raising him to wash away blood guilt by vengeance. Well, if I had the strength, I'd have done it for sure. Because of him, you blare insults at me from the rooftops. Wicked slut, you say, or foul-mouthed, or no sense of shame at all. All right, if I was born like that, it came from you. So I have my mother's nature. I'm not ashamed of that.
I see she is huffing with anger.
Is she giving any thought to whether justice is on her side?
I don't see that.
What kind of thought should I have toward her? She treats her mother so outrageously, and at her age, too. Don't you understand? She has no sense of shame. She'd stop at nothing, no matter how disgusting.
Listen, of course I'm ashamed of what I do, even if you can't tell. I learn from what I see, so I act in ways that are not right for me. It's all because you hate me so much. You absolutely force me to act the way I do. You know, act ugly. Ugly actions teach.
You nasty bitch. So I'm to blame, really? My words, my actions, they're making you talk too much.
It's you. You're the one who's talking, not me. The action was yours, and action is the cause of words.
My God! By Artemis, I swear you'll pay for this insolence. Just wait till Aegisthus is home.
Look at that. You just flew into a rage. You said I could say what I want, but you don't know how to listen.
Won't you let me make my sacrifice? A decent silence, please. No more shouting. I let you say everything you wanted.
Make your sacrifice. My lips are sealed. I won't say another word that offends you.
Then I ask you to stand by me and lift up these bountiful offerings so that I may raise a prayer to this Lord to release me from the fears that I have now. Hear my words, I pray, Apollo, guardian of our house, and understand their secret meaning. I am not among friends, and it would be a mistake for me to bring everything openly into the light while she is standing next to me. If I did, her tongue is so busy screaming in anger that she'd spread false, malicious words all over the city. So, listen to me as I asked, since this is how I'll speak. The images I saw last night in that dream with two meanings. Oh, wolf slayer, if what they promise is good, grant that they may come true, but if not, if what they promise is hostile, send them back against my enemies. And if anyone has a secret plot to throw me out of my position of wealth, don't let them, but allow me to live my life as before, in total safety, looking after this house and the royal power of the sons of Atreus. Allow me to share day after day of happiness with my friends and my children, the ones who do not hate me or carry bitter pain. For these things, Apollo, wolf slayer, I pray. Hear me graciously and grant us all that we request. What I've not said, I believe you understand, though I am silent. As a god, as a son of Zeus, you must know everything.
Greetings to you, women. As your guest, I ask if I can be certain that this is the house of the tyrant Aegisthus.
It is here, my friend. Your guess was right.
Now, I am also guessing that this woman is the woman in charge. Am I right? She looks like a ruler.
She certainly is, and she's right there beside you.
I wish you joy, lady. I am here with a report from a friend. It will be a pleasure for you to hear, and for Aegisthus as well.
What a good omen. I accept it. But first I must know who it was that sent you to me.
Thanatos of Phocis, and the matter is weighty.
What is it, visitor? Tell me. It comes from a man who is our friend, as I know clearly, so I expect friendly news.
Orestes is dead. to put it succinctly.
Oh no. Misery, I'm finished. Today's the end for me.
What are you saying? What are you saying? Don't listen to her.
Orestes is dead. I said it once, I'll say it again.
I'm finished. A miserable nothing. It's all over for me now.
Mind your own business and get to work. Now, you, visitor, tell me the truth. In what way did he die?
I was sent on this mission, so I will tell you everything. Orestes came to the glorious showplace of Greece to compete for prizes in the Delphic Games, and when he had heard the announcer in a great voice call for the foot race, the very first event, he entered it. His body had a glow that struck everyone into awe. He completed the course as well as he began it and came out with the prize. Well, to make a long story short for you, I never knew such a man for winning prizes. This much is certain. In every race the referee announced, the one on the double track and all the usual ones, he carried off the wreaths of victory. Everyone thought he was blessed with happiness, and they hailed him as Orestes from Argos, the son of Agamemnon, who once upon a time mustered the glorious army of Greece. And so it was. But when a god is being destructive, there is no strength that can escape. So, on another day, when the chariot race was set to begin at dawn, he entered the swift contest against many charioteers. One was Achaean, one from Sparta, and two of them were expert yoke masters from Lydia. There was one who had horses from Thessaly. He was the fifth. The sixth came from Aetolia and was driving chestnut fillies. The seventh, Magnesian. The eighth, with white horses, was Aenean. The ninth one came from Athens, a city built by gods. And there was a Boeotian who manned the 10th chariot. They took their place where the appointed referees, after casting lots, assigned each vehicle. Then, at the trumpet blast, they were off like a shot, cheering on their horses with one voice, snapping the reins. Then all the racecourse was bursting with sound, the clatter and clash of chariots, and the dust billowed up. Soon they were all in a close pack, goading their horses like mad, each one trying to pass the other's axle, and snorting horses, for everywhere their flanks and their spinning wheels were spattered with foam from the horses' panting breath. Now, at each turn, Orestes kept close to the post, just touching it with his axle housing and giving his right-hand horse free rein to block the next team. At first, they all stayed upright in their charioteers. But then the Aenean racer lost control of his colts. They were too hard-mouthed to feel the bridle right at the turn at the end of the 6th lap. As the 7th lap began, his colts dashed their heads on a chariot from Lydia. Then one piled into another in a single disaster of broken, colliding chariots, and the whole plain of Chrysa was filled with the wreckage of horse gear. Seeing this, the Athenian, who was expert with reins, jerked his team aside and held them back, so he avoided the maelstrom of horses at the center. Orestes was driving in the first lane, holding his colts just behind the others, trusting in a strong finish. When he saw the only other one remained on the course, he barked a sharp command into his horse's ears and gave chase. The two were driving, yoke to yoke, now one, now the other, took the lead, but never by more than a horse's head. Now, during all the laps so far, Orestes drove safely, and the poor man kept his vehicle straight and upright. But then he slacked off on the left-hand reins as the horse was turning. He wasn't paying attention. He crashed against the post, shattered his axle housing, dived over the railing, got tangled in the cut leather reins. As he fell, his horses skittered off into the middle of the course. Now he was thrown in the dust, now tossed to the sky, his legs flashing, until drivers, with great difficulty, got his horses under control. Then they cut him free, but he was such a wreck of blood and gore that his friends would not know him. They burned him right away, and now a little bronze holds that magnificent body's miserable ashes. Men of Focus were chosen to bring him there, so that he could be buried in the land of his father. So it came about. It is painful enough to hear a report, but to see it as we did, why, it was the worst disaster I have ever seen.
Oh, the ruling family is wiped out.
Wiped out like an uprooted tree.
Wiped out.
Oh.
Oh, Zeus, what can I say? Is it good luck or horrible? But is it to my advantage? What agony this is. I saved my life by losing so much.
Why are you so downhearted, lady, at this news?
It's wonderful and horrible to be a mother, even when he treats you badly. You cannot hate your child.
Apparently we should not have come. It was a waste of time.
No, not at all. No waste of time. How could it be? Not if you have brought with you compelling evidence that he is dead. He was born out of my life, but he tore himself from my breasts and the care I gave him, ran away and became a foreigner. And since the time he left us, he has never seen me. But he blames me for his father's death, and he makes terrible threats. And so for all these nights and days, I have never had the sweet shelter of sleep. That every passing moment has come over me as the moment of my death. And now, today, I have been set free. I have no more fear of him or of this woman here. She's done me more harm. She lives with me, you see, and she sucks my lifeblood constantly. But from now on, peace and calm will guard our days from all her threats.
No, it's too horrible. Orestes, must I grieve for you now, while your mother abuses you arrogantly in your downfall? Could this be good?
Not for you, but things as they stand well for him.
Nemesis, are you listening? Come and protect the dead.
Nemesis heard what she should have heard. Her ruling was good.
Go ahead, abuse me, now that luck is on your side.
Won't you put a stop to this, you and Orestes?
We have been stopped, and now we can't stop you.
Your visit, sir, deserves a great reward if you have stopped her screaming voice.
Then I should be off now that all is well.
Certainly not. You deserve better, and so does the friend who sent you. Come right in. Leave this woman outside. Let her bawl over her troubles out here.
Do you think she had pain behind those groans? Or was it horror and cleverness that made her weep and wail? A sad woman mourning for her son? I jeered at her, but I myself have passed away. Orestes, your death wipes me out. Now where can I turn? I am alone, bereft. You and father are both gone. For the longest time now, I have been a slave to people I detest, my worst enemies, my father's killers. Could this be right? No, I'll never go back inside. I'll never be at home again. I'll stay here at this gate, now that I have no friend or family, and let my life fade away. Or let them kill me, the people inside, if I bother them. It would be a favor to be killed. Life is pain. I do not want to live.
Where is Zeus's thunderbolt now? Where is shining Apollo?
How can they watch this scene from their hiding places?
Why don't they do something?
Oh, No!
Dear child, why so loud?
Oh, horrible!
Don't make such noise when you cry.
You're killing me!
How?
If you are going to pretend there's hope, when anyone can see they've gone to Hades, you'll just be trampling a woman who is already down.
Misery meets misery in you.
Oh, on misery, I am an expert. More than an expert. My life has been tossed in every flood of horror, every month of every year.
We understand why you lament.
No, not anymore. Don't try to divert me when there's no
what?
No hope left to us. No one new will be born from our ancient family to defend us.
All mortals are born to die.
But are they born for a chariot wreck? To crash like him? To be caught in a whip of harness, a flash of hooves?
It's a horror beyond imagining.
How could anyone have imagined it? He died in a strange land where I could not lay him out with my own hands. He was simply put underground without a funeral, and I was not there to weep for him.
I am so excited by joy, dear sister, that I came back in a rush. It's no time for decorum, I bring news of joy. This is the end of all of those troubles that you've been weeping about.
You? Where would you find an antidote? The pain is mine, it's beyond cure.
He's here with us. Orestes, listen to me, he's here as sure as you're
Have you lost
seeing
your
me right now.
You're in a sorry state. This is your disaster too. It's not a joke.
No, by father's hearthstone. It's no joke. I'm not he's right nearby.
You are in a sad way. Who in the whole wide world could make you believe a tale like that so strongly?
Me, myself, no one else. I saw the evidence clear enough to prove that the story is true.
What was the evidence you saw, poor thing? It warmed you with all the comfort of a deadly fire.
For God's sakes, listen to me tell the whole story. Then you'll know if I am a sensible woman or a fool.
Tell the story then, if talking makes you happy.
All right, I'll tell you exactly what I saw. I came to father's tomb on the ancient mound, and I saw fresh streams of milk springing from the top, and all the flowers that are in bloom were twisted in a wreath to crown father's grave. I saw this and I was amazed. I looked around thinking someone else might be there with me, but stillness was all I could find in that place. So I crept up on the tomb, and at the edge I saw on the burial site a freshly cut lock of hair. Then immediately my poor soul was struck with a long, familiar, precious sight. The man I loved more than anyone, Orestes. This was evidence of him. Who else is supposed to do this? Only me and you. Me, I did not do it, that's for sure, and neither did you. Because if you leave this house even to visit a shrine, you're made to regret it. And as for mother, her mind is not inclined that way, and if she'd done a thing like that, we'd have seen her. So Orestes is the one who left these burial gifts. So cheer up, dear sister. The same people do not always have the same run of luck.
You don't have a clue. As you talked, I pitied you.
What? Aren't you happy about my news?
You don't know what path or plan you're following.
What do you mean? I saw it with my own eyes.
He's dead. I'm sorry. All hope of him is gone. He won't save us. Don't expect anything from him.
Don't say that. Who told you this?
The man who was beside him when he died.
So where is he now? I'm amazed. I'm overcome.
In the house, where mother is delighted with him, not pained.
No, don't say this. Then who could it possibly be who made all of those offerings at father's tomb?
My best guess is that they're for Orestes, now he's dead. Put there as a memorial by someone or other.
This is terrible. I came in such a hurry to bring you this joyful news, but I did not really know how deeply we were ruined. Now that I'm here, our old reality was horrible, but I find this much worse.
That's how things are with you. But listen to me. you can shake off the weight of all this grief.
What am I going to do? Raise the dead?
That was not my point. I wasn't born a fool.
So what are you asking me to do that I can do?
To have the courage to do as I direct.
If it will help us, I won't refuse.
But look, it will be tough. No pain, no happiness.
I see, and I'll take a load as I can bear.
Pay attention now. Here's my plan. You know, as well as I, we've no friends here to help. There's no one left for us. Hades took them all and left us solitary and bereft. Now, as for me, so long as I was told our brother lived and flourished, I had hopes that someday soon he'd take on the job and avenge our father's death. But now he's no more. It's you I'm looking at. This red-handed murderer who killed father, you won't hesitate, will you? Kill Aegisthus. Would Aegisthus ever allow you or me to carry on our family and breed a new generation of threats to him? It's obvious. No one could be so stupid, but if you adopt my plan, here's what will happen. First, you'll earn sacred goodwill from both of those who are dead and buried, our father and our brother. On top of that, you'll call yourself what you were born to be, a free woman. And after that, you'll win a husband of your social rank. All men are dazzled by success. You'll never have so much fame unless you throw in with me. And anyone who sees you then, citizen or foreigner, wouldn't he heap you with praise? Wouldn't he say, look, my friends, this is the pair of sisters who saved their father's house. Everyone should love and treat them with respect. In festivals or assemblies of the city, everyone should honor them for manly courage. So trust me, sister dear, do as I say. Take up the burden of our father's pain. Take up our brother's trouble. Release me from evil. Release yourself, and keep this in mind. It's shameful for well-born folk to live in disgrace.
In a case like this, you should think ahead.
Forethought is your ally, whether you speak or listen.
Yes, my friends. And if she were endowed with an intellect that was not so badly flawed, she would have taken care to be discreet, which she certainly has not been. What could you possibly expect from this? You lift your fierceness like a sword and you ask me for support? Can't you see? You're a woman. That's your nature. You're not a man, and you're not as strong as your enemies in a fight. Our troubles are bad enough, so you'd best take care. They'd be worse if someone had heard what you just said. It won't save us, and it won't do any good to become famous on our way to a disgraceful death. I don't hate dying so much as not having the power to die when that would be a blessing. So I beg of you, before we are totally destroyed, before our family is wiped clean away, contain your anger. Now, all those things you've said and void. Please be sensible for once in this long time. And since you are so weak, give in to our rulers.
Do as she says.
Foresight always gives the best advantage to human beings.
That and wisdom.
Just as I expected. I knew perfectly well you tossed my proposal away. So I'm single-handed. I'll have to do this thing alone. And I'll never let it go.
Oh, how I wish you'd had a plan like that when Father died. You could have overcome anything.
I was as strong by nature then, but not so strong-minded.
You should train your mind to always be the same.
So you won't help me take action. You want me to mind you.
Because if you start this way, I expect you'll end badly.
I do admire your mind. It's your cowardice I hate.
I'll accept what you say too, when I hear compliments.
You'll never hear compliments from me.
Time will tell, and there's plenty of it left.
Get out of here. You're no use at all.
I am too, but you don't know anything.
You'll run to your mother and tell her everything.
I don't hate you that much, really, I don't.
But don't you see you're leading me into disgrace?
Disgrace, no. Thinking ahead, yes, for your own sake.
Do I really have to obey your rules of justice?
Come to your senses and you'll be leading us both.
It's horrible to speak so well and be so wrong.
You're quite right speaking of yourself.
What? You can't think that you're speaking on the side of justice. I should live by these laws. They're not for me. I'll do what I want. You don't scare me. What could be more hateful than a discussion with a coward? I'll never follow you. No matter how passionately you want me to do so, it's pure foolishness, chasing phantoms.
Birds above are wisest. We watch them tend the needs of those from whom they grew and those who were good to them.
O voices that cries to the dead in the earth, shriek into the ears of Agamemnon down below, for my sake, and tell them, shame.
Shame.
Tell him his home is now tormented with plague. His children shout battle cries at one another. Family love is drowned.
The girl who weeps alone endlessly for her father's death. This girl has been abandoned to the storms. She cries in misery like a plaintive nightingale.
She would give her life and leave the light, if only she could bring the Furies down on both.
Has any other hero's daughter burst into such bloom?
No one from a fine family who was forced to live like garbage would ever trade her glory for the shame of silence.
Oh dear, dear child, what a public spectacle you have made of your misery. You put on the full armor against shame, so now your name is 2 in 1. You are the wise and good.
Greetings. Did we hear right? Are we on the right road for where we need to be?
What are you looking for?
What brought you here?
Aegisthus. I've been asking where he lives.
You have come right. Your guide was faultless.
Is there one of you who could tell the family about our group's arrival? It has been eagerly awaited.
She could, if you want to ask the closest relative.
Miss, could you go inside and tell them that some men from Focus are asking for Aegisthus?
Oh no. Don't tell me that what you're carrying is proof, visible proof of the story we have heard.
I don't know what rumor you heard, but an old man named Strophius sent us with news about Orestes.
What is it? How quickly fear comes over me.
Here is the little that remains of him. He's dead. As you can see, the urn we bring is very small.
Oh, misery. So this is it, it's clear. And now I see this heavy load straight on.
Are you weeping over Orestes' sad fate? Then you should know. This is the container for his body.
Visitor, give it to me, please, right now. Is he really hidden in this urn? Let me hold it in my own hands. I need to weep and mourn over these ashes for me and my whole family.
Here you are.
For this is all I have to remember him. No one was closer to me than Orestes. I sent him off with such high hopes, and now I'm taking him back with none. This thing I hold in my hands is nothing. But you, my child, were a blaze of light when I sent you from home. I should have died before these hands stole you and sent you abroad. It was foreign hands that put your little remnant in a little urn. Now I weep for the times gone by when I would care for you. What a waste that was. All the trouble I took for you. You never belonged to mother as much as to me. I loved you more than she did. No servants looked after you but me. You always called me sister. Now all of this has been lost in one day. The day you died, you swept everything away like a tornado and you are gone. Father's gone and I am dead, thanks to you. You're absolutely dead. Laughter from our enemies, a wild rage of joy from our mother, I mean the one you said by secret messages that you would come and punish on your own. But now our demon luck, yours and mine, has ripped this away from us. All it's given us instead of your dear shape is ash and shadow. I am so miserable. Pity this poor corpse. Frightful, horrible the path you had to take. You destroyed me. Really destroyed me, my dear brother. So now, take me under this roof of yours. Take this nothing into nothing, so that I may be at home below with you forever after. While you were above, I was your equal partner. Now, I beg to be with you, to die and never leave your tomb, because I see the dead are free from pain.
You come from a father who was subject to death, Electra. Keep that in mind.
Orestes too is mortal, so do not mourn too much.
We all must die.
Oh no. What can I say? Words fail me. I do not have the strength to control my tongue.
You're in pain suddenly. Why? What is this about?
You look like someone famous. Are you Electra?
I am. And I'm in total agony.
How sadly things turned out for you.
It's not possible. You're a visitor. Why weep for me?
They've made a wreck of your body. What contempt. What godlessness.
You're talking about me. Why are you so sad?
What misery. Not married, not enough food.
Why are you looking at me this way, weeping?
I had no idea how rotten my situation was.
How could you learn this from what you've heard?
Because I see you. Your suffering is so conspicuous.
But really, you're seeing only a few of my troubles.
Could anything be more hateful than what I see now?
Yes, because I live and feed with the murderers.
Of who? Where did this trouble come from? Be clear.
My father. I am the slave of the people who murdered him.
Someone's compelling you to live like this. Who is it?
She's called my mother, but she's nothing like a mother.
What does she do? Lay hands on you? Starve you?
Lay hands and starve and everything.
Isn't there anyone to help or protect you?
No, there was, but you gave me his ashes.
It's so hard. The moment I saw you, I pitied you.
The only one who's ever pitied me is you, that's for sure.
The only one? I am here and your pain is mine.
You're not some relative of ours, are you? From somewhere?
I'd like to tell you. Are these people on our side?
Yes, they are. You can talk safely.
Then set this urn aside if you want to learn everything.
Girl, for God's sake, stranger, don't do this to me.
Put the container down and I'll tell you everything.
No, it's what I love most. As you are a man, don't take it.
You cannot keep it.
This is horrible. Orestes, if I am not allowed to bury you...
Careful what you say. It's wrong for you to weep.
How could it be wrong? It's my brother who died.
It's not for you to say this.
Have I lost the right to mourn him? How?
You haven't lost any rights. This isn't yours.
Of course it is. If what I hold is the body of Orestes...
It's not Orestes. That was just a story we made up.
Then where is the poor man's casket?
There isn't one. A living man doesn't have a casket.
What did you say?
Nothing
Charles?
false.
Is the man alive?
If I am breathing.
Is it you?
Look at this seal. It was my father's. Then you'll know.
Oh, my dearest light.
Dearest, I swear.
Your voice. It's here.
No need to hear from others now.
I have you in my arms.
And forever after.
Dearest women. Women of the city. Look. Here's Orestes. It was only a trick that he was dead, and that trick has kept him alive.
We see him, dear child.
It's such good luck.
Joy bring tears to our eyes.
Oh, beloved seed. Beloved child, you're here now. You found, you came. You saw those you longed for.
Yes, I'm here, but you must keep it quiet.
Why?
Quiet is better, so no one inside hears.
No, by Artemis. Goddess undominated, always unmarried, I will never consent to tremble. All the women who stay indoors, that wasteful burden on the land.
But look, there's war in women too. You learned that from your own experience.
Oh, pain, 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 this evil thing you've brought up. Not covered by clouds, never to be dispersed, never to be forgotten. This evil which we have by birth.
I know this very well, but wait till their arrival prompts us. Then we should remember what they did.
Every time is the right time for me. Every moment. It's always proper to speak
No.
out on this. Till now, I barely had the freedom to open my mouth.
I entirely agree with you. But now is not the right time. Protect your freedom.
How?
Stop trying to talk so much. It's not the right time.
But you are here.
No.
Brilliantly. How could I react with utter silence? It wouldn't be a fair trade. I couldn't think. I couldn't hope to see you. And now I do.
You certainly do now. The gods have goaded me into it.
Oh, joy beyond joy. If a god brought you to our house, I declare that all of this is moved by a divine spirit.
This joy of yours. I'd hate to cut it back, but I'm afraid it's too much. It's carrying you away.
Don't. It's been so long. You chose to come. Your coming is dear to me. Don't. You see me full of sorrow.
Don't what?
Don't take your face away from me. You'd ruin everything.
I'd certainly be furious if anyone else took us apart.
So I may?
Of course.
Dear one, when I had lost all hope, I heard a voice. But I kept my passion without a voice. I did not shout aloud when I heard it in my misery, but now I have you right in front of me, the face I love the most. My troubles would never make me forget you.
This is too much talk. Let it go. Instead, focus on our current situation. Tell me where we should show ourselves or hide to complete our mission and wipe the smile from our enemies' faces. And make sure Mother does not guess the truth that we've come home. She mustn't see you with a shining face, so pretend it's a disaster, as was reported, and keep crying.
My brother, whatever you care about, I will make that my care also. Every joy I have, I got from you, not on my own. And I would not cause you the least bit of pain. Even if it were of some great advantage to me, there would be no way to serve the divinity that is at work here. Now, you know what's inside, of course you do. You heard Aegisthus is away, but Mother's home. No fear. She won't see me with a smile or shining face. I've hated her for ages in the extreme. And now that I have seen you, I can't stop crying out of happiness. How could I possibly? One and the same road brought you to me, dead and alive for me to see. You surprise me so much that if Father walked in right now, I would not call it a miracle. I'd believe I saw him. Your coming brings me so much joy. You must give me whatever orders you please. If I were alone, I would get one thing right out of two. A noble way to save myself or a noble death.
Please be quiet. I hear someone leaving the house, coming our way.
Go inside, you two. It's important. No one at home could ward off the thing you are bringing them, and they won't receive it with pleasure.
You're being total idiots. Have you lost your minds? Don't you care about your lives? Were you born stupid? The greatest possible danger is not around the corner. It's right here on top of us now, and you don't realize it. If I had not stationed myself just inside these doors and been standing watch over you for some time, your plans would have gotten into the house before you did. No, you two, shut down this long conversation. Put aside these endless exclamations of joy and go inside. At a time like this, danger is imminent, and you must finish your business right now. It's time.
So how will it be for me in there?
Fine. It's settled that no one knows you.
So you must have told them I am dead.
As far as they know, you are in Hades.
Are they happy about that? What did they say?
I'll tell you when it's all done. For now, things are fine with them, even what's not fine.
Who is this, brother? For God's sake, tell me.
You haven't guessed.
Nothing comes to mind.
Don't you remember the man you gave me to once?
What? What sort of man?
It was his hand that guided me to focus as you wished.
Is this the man? The only one I found out of all of them who was faithful when father was murdered?
He's the one. Now no more cross-examination.
You dear light! You are the only one that saved the house of Agamemnon. Could you really be here? Is it really you who saved him and me from all that trouble? Your dear, dear hands. And your feet, what delicious work they've done. You've been here so long. How could I not recognize you?
That's enough. Our story about after we left will be told over many cycles of days and nights, and you will know it all clearly then, Electra. But I am telling you, while you're just standing around, that the time for action is now. Now, Clytemnestra is alone. Now, none of her men are inside. If you let the moment go, keep this in mind. You will have to fight more men than these, and they will be coming.
We don't have time for so much talking. Pylades, we need to go inside and get our job done quickly. But first, let's greet the gods whose images are set in front of Father's house.
Lord Apollo, graciously hear their prayer, and let me add my own to theirs. My eager hands have made you many offerings from whatever I might have. Lord of light Apollo, I have little now to give, I beg. I entreat you on my knees, be our ally in these plans we've made, and show all people how great a penalty the gods hand out to those who trample on reverence.
Look, he is on the move. Ares, blasting gales of foul strife and blood. Already the hounds have tracked their evil prey beneath the roof. They are inescapable. Soon now my heart's dream will come true here on earth.
Now the defender of the dead is being led on the silent feet of deception right to the center of his father's former wealth, and the blood is ready for his hands.
Hermes, son of Maia, guides him in darkness, concealing the trick now, waiting for this moment, but he waits no longer.
My dear women, the men are at the very point of doing this thing, so keep it quiet.
What are they doing now?
What now?
What are they doing?
She has the burial urn. She's dressing it for burial. Those two stand near.
But why did you rush back out?
I'm standing guard so we know if Aegisthus starts to come inside.
This house is full of killers. There's no one on my side.
Someone is shouting inside. Do you hear it?
Yes, I heard it. I wish I hadn't.
Horrible, it made my flesh creep.
I'm finished. Aegisthus, where are you now?
Listen, what a horrible scream.
My child! Oh, my child! I gave you birth. Have pity on me.
But you had none. There was no pity in you for father who planted the seed.
Oh, city, oh,
What
family.
misery,
Days are coming to an end.
I'm hit.
Hit her again. Make it twice if you're strong enough.
Another blow.
How I wish Aegisthus had the same.
Curses fulfilled.
Drop by drop, the thirsty dead, alive beneath the ground, stuck back to the blood of those who killed them long ago.
And here they are.
His hand drips red from a sacrifice to Ares.
I do not know what to say.
Orestes, how did it go?
In the house. It's good. If Apollo's oracle was good.
Is she dead? Miserable woman.
You'll never be afraid again. Mother's pride will not humiliate you any longer.
Be quiet.
I see Aegisthus.
He is very close.
Boys, you'd better go back.
Where do you see him?
Go, quick to the entryway.
Now! Others things can wait.
He's coming home from the outskirts of town.
Full of joy.
Don't worry, we'll finish the job.
Hurry up now, follow your plan.
I'm going. I'm gone.
I'll see to things out here.
Speak gently in his ear.
And don't say very much. That would be best.
So he'll dash blindly into the hidden toils of justice.
Where are the visitors from Phocis? Which of you knows? I heard they brought us the news that Orestes had lost his life in a chariot wreck. You. I choose you. Yes, you. Where's that rough tongue you used to have? This is largely your concern. I think you should know the most. Answer my question.
Of course I know. How could I forget this catastrophe? This loss of my nearest and dearest?
So where might our guests actually be? Tell me.
Inside. They got to their hostess with ties of friendship.
Is it really true they brought news of a death?
No, not news. Not mere words. They proved it.
So we can be sure on the basis of visual evidence.
Of course you can, but it is not a happy sight to see.
For once, after all these years, you said something that makes me happy.
Have your happiness then, if you enjoy these things.
Open the palace doors, I command it, and show what's there to all the people of Mycenae and Argos, so that if any of them have been hanging on empty hopes for this man, now, they'll see him dead.
My part of that is finished. After so much time, I've got it. My mind is sound. I've learned to serve those who are stronger.
Zeus. What an apparition. Uncover its face. It's my kin. Let it have the opportunity to be mourned by me.
Use your own hands. It isn't my duty, it's yours to look at this and speak to it like a close relative.
That's good advice, and I'll follow it. Now you, is Clytemnestra at home? If so, call her for me.
She's very close to you. Don't expect her anywhere but here.
What the hell is this?
Are you afraid of someone? Someone you don't recognize?
Who are these men? What is this trap I fall into? Oh, what a miserable throw of the dice.
Didn't you notice a while ago that although you're alive, you've been matching words with the dead?
I see what you're saying. It has to be. It can only be Orestes who is talking to me.
What a superb prophet you are. You missed it for ages.
I'm finished. It's horrible, but let me say something.
Don't let him
I'll be
speak.
brief.
For God's sake, brother, he just draw things out. Kill him right away, and when you've killed him, let whoever might take him and give him a burial out of my sight. This is the only way, after all of these years of misery, that I'll be released.
Go inside. Hurry up. Words are not the issue any longer. It's your life that is at stake.
Why are you taking me inside? If this is right, this thing you're doing, why do it in the dark? Aren't you ready to kill?
Don't give me orders. Go where you killed my father so you can die in the same place.
Is it really necessary that this very house should see the evils that come to Pelops' heirs now and in the future?
It will see yours. On that point, I am the top prophet.
You claim a skill your father did not have.
You're talking back too much. You lengthen the road. Get moving.
Lead on.
You go first.
So I won't escape.
No. So you won't find a pleasant way to die. I must make sure it hurts bitterly. This is justice for all. Kill them on the spot, all of them who choose to violate the law. Then there won't be so much crime.
Fifth of Atreus.
How much you suffered before you won through to freedom.
Barely.
But perfectly now, from this beginning.